Have you ever told a little white lie on April Fool's Day? Usually, a lie is a fleeting thing that vanishes as soon as the day is done. However, in my life, there is a rather curious tale of how one such lie led to the creation of my magnum opus. It all began back in 2017. At the time, I often ordered paper for SORAKANA Mandala art from Mayako-san, a fellow instructor who worked for a printing company. So, on April Fool's Day, I posted the following on Facebook. I've just ordered a 90 cm square sheet of mandala paper from Mayako-san. To any instructor, this was an obvious fabrication. You see, the paper recommended for SORAKANA has a maximum width of only 78 cm. In other words, a 90 cm square sheet should have been physically impossible to source. I thought to myself, this will certainly give everyone a surprise. It stood to reason. At that point, the largest piece I had ever drawn was only 30 centimeters, and as I am the teacher, the same limit applied to my students. I sat there with a cheeky grin, waiting to see how everyone behind their screens would react. This is the 30 centimeters square size, the largest I had drawn until then. To me, 90 centimeters was a scale I hadn't even dreamt of. That is why I thought it was the perfect April Fool's prank. The response was enormous. More than half the people took it quite seriously. I was absolutely chuffed, scrolling through comments with a playful, "Oh, as if that were possible." However, a week later, a large, long, cylindrical parcel arrived at my door. That's odd. Did I order something? I wondered as I popped the lid. Out came a roll of poster paper, a staggering 150 centimeters wide. It was as if I could see Mayako-san's knowing smirk, silently saying, "Oh, but it does exist." She had returned my lie with a supersized reality. I stood before it for a while, completely at a loss. Then I cried out, "Wait, poster paper? Will the colors even take? Is this actually going to work? And 150 centimeters wide, what on earth am I supposed to do with this?" The 30 centimeters square sheet I usually use placed on top was dwarfed beside it. Just look at the difference in scale. Normally, one would just say, "Thanks for the joke," and leave it at that, but the physical object was now right in front of me. I simply couldn't bring myself to ignore Mayako-san's sincere playfulness. The roll was a whopping 10 meters long. Since she had gone to the trouble of buying it and paying for postage, I couldn't just say thank you and let the idea fade away. Right, I thought, I'll give it my best shot. If it fails, then so be it. If I had a clear reason why it didn't work, I'm sure Mayako-san would understand. If I had a clear reason why it didn't work, I'm sure Mayako-san would understand. I mounted it onto a board I'd had cut at the DIY store, and with a determined right then, I began. My dining table was completely occupied by this project. Despite my anxiety about the ink on poster paper, I gradually began to layer the intricate patterns. A challenge that started with a nothing-to-lose attitude was slowly taking shape. Thus, after a great deal of trial and error, my signature work, the All, was born. I hope to tell you all about the meaning behind this title one day. If I hadn't posted that lie on Facebook back then, and if Mayako-san hadn't responded to that lie in such a witty way with that 10-meter roll, this piece would never have existed in this world. It is a story of how a little playfulness can invite sincerity. It remains my most unforgettable April Fool's memory.